reality TV is being rocked by the unexpected bombshell that just went off. Atlanta and hip-hop at their core. The secret marriage between Kirk Frost and Jasmine has finally come to light. The most astounding aspect is that Rasheeda learned about it while watching live television. You heard correctly. Fans were already doubting the basis of Kirk and Rasheeda's relationship after years of scandals, betrayals, and ugly entanglements. The ultimate explosion has been triggered by this information. According to sources, receipts that demonstrated Kirk wasn't merely spying on Jasmine appeared during a live taping. It is said that he married her behind Rasheeda back. Rasheeda's response is shown in real time on the video. Her whole world fell apart in front of the cameras due to shock, betrayal, and rage. As the crowd gasped and screamed, phones were raised to document the mayhem. It wasn't just a TV moment, according to viewers. It was an earthquake of culture. Social media took off right away. No cheating scandal has ever been worse than this one. Rasheeda was deserving of better. How did Kirk conceal a full marriage? Hip and love. Now that Hop has formally entered history, the questions will never go away. How did Kirk manage to conceal this information for so long? What part did Jasmine play in this trick? Above all, what will Rasheeda do now that the world is aware of her husband's ultimate betrayal? There have been some famous scandals on reality TV, but nothing, not even a brawl, betrayal, or meltdown during a reunion, compares to this. Rasheeda, Kirk Frost's wife of more than 20 years, learned of his secret marriage to Jasmine Washington on live television, making it the most combustible moment in hip-hop and love history. We must go back in time and dissect the years of drama, betrayal, and shattered trust that made this startling turn seem both impossible and inevitable in order to fully comprehend the gravity of this revelation. Since their debut on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Kirk and Rasheeda have had the messiest love story. The interaction between Kirk and Rasheeda was closely monitored. Their dynamic grabbed fans. Kirk, Rasheeda manager and husband, appeared unable to avoid controversy, and Rasheeda, the fiery rapper turned businesswoman who held herself like a queen. Their union was both personal and professional. Rasheeda's music career was managed by Kirk, and their collaborative endeavors were essential to their plot. However, what was supposed to be a story about a power couple soon became a story of betrayal. Kirk was embroiled in controversies, rumors of infidelity, improper actions on television, and dubious business choices year after year. Loyal but obviously exhausted, Rasheeda frequently pardoned him, starting a vicious circle that fans couldn't break. Many questioned how much she could endure before breaking. Jasmine Washington came in. Then came Jasmine Washington, the woman who would change Kirk and Rasheeda's story forever. Jasmine was more than a passing fancy. One of the biggest scandals in love and hip-hop revolved around her. Atlanta was rocked by Jasmine's shocking revelation back in 2017. She asserted that Kirk was her child's father. A whole season was dominated by the plot. As Rasheeda sobbed, fans watched. Jasmine remained true to herself as the cast turned against Kirk. What everyone feared was eventually confirmed by DNA tests. Yes, Kirk was the father. Jasmine was no longer merely a supporting role after that. The complicated legacy of the Frost family, a history of secrets, solidified her. Kirk and Rasheeda attempted to move on from the paternity scandal. They established their companies, reaffirmed their commitments, and put on a united front. However, supporters never again had complete faith in Kirk. Viewers worried, what else is he hiding, each time he appeared on film? It turns out that these fears were foreshadowing rather than paranoia. Because Kirk was purportedly carrying a covert marriage certificate linking him to Jasmine during the same while he was rebuilding his life with Rasheeda. Fans were stunned at the audacity. This was no ordinary affair. Baby, this wasn't another side. This betrayal was legally enforceable. The ideal conditions for catastrophe. According to insiders, producers were aware of a significant development but concealed it until the cameras were rolling. Documents proving Kirk's marriage to Jasmine were purportedly unveiled on stage during a live reunion-style broadcast. The receipts were shown in front of the audience in a situation that was pure TV gold, giving Rasheeda no time to process and capture. Cast members gasped, audience members screamed, and Jasmine, who was sitting calmly across the stage, didn't deny anything. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok were instantly lighted up by followers watching at home. A covert union? As the dirtiest man alive, Kirk just made history. On live TV, Rasheeda learned. Even for LHH producers, that is brutal. Jasmine wasn't merely a passing fancy, then. She was his spouse. I'm finished. Timelines were inundated with memes, one of which featured Rasheeda's shocked response alongside captions. This is no longer even considered cheating. This is illegal. Why does this turn of events matter for more than 10 years? One admirer wrote, "This might be the end of love and hip-hop. Where do you go after this?" Hip-hop and love have been built on the marriage of Kirk and Rasheeda. That's Atlanta. Seasonal ups and downs sparked many discussions about toxic love, forgiveness, and fidelity. However, the stakes are redefined by this twist. Not only is a covert marriage controversial, but it's also historic. It turns every instance of Kirk and Rasheeda's reconciliation into a cruel farce. It reveals Jasmine as a secret wife rather than a mistress, and it has Rasheeda face not only adultery but also the problem of her marriage's validity. In public, Kirk and Rasheeda marriage was never tidy. With the paternity issue, Jasmine Washington has already altered everything. The covert union with Jasmine exposed a more profound betrayal than anyone could have predicted. One of the most memorable royal reality TV moments ever was produced by Rasheeda's live reaction. Here's the twist, though. This was not an accident, according to insiders. Rumor has it that someone close to Kirk gave producers access to the documents in exchange for a sizable payout. This begs the question of whether Jasmine was aware of it or not. This love triangle has another manipulator. Fans anticipated the typical amount of drama, a few confrontations, some yelling altercations, and perhaps a few fights between cast members, when the cameras began to film for the live reunion special. They were unaware that the studio descended into complete anarchy as soon as the producers dropped the nuclear bomb they had been sitting on. The live TV disclosure started off innocently enough. Seated in the middle of the platform, Rasheeda was calm yet tense as she responded to inquiries concerning her marriage to Kirk. She had been publicly defending him once more for months, claiming that they were still working on their marriage in spite of everything they had gone through, the infidelity, the paternity controversy, and the never-ending rumors. "It's hard, but I love my husband and I've stood by him because I believe in family," she said to the crowd. The host then went to Kirk and asked if he had any final questions. Kirk muttered something about haters fabricating tales as he shifted uneasily in his chair. The host was then given a manila envelope by the producer. Within a marriage license. The crowd gasped as the host gently unfolded it and said, "Kirk, can you explain why your name appears here on a legal document marrying Jasmine Washington?" Rasheeda's eyes widened, her palm covered her mouth, and her body shook in shock as the camera panned directly to her. You could watch the fractures growing in real time as Rasheeda's melt on Rasheeda attempted to maintain her composure. "This can't be real. This can't be real," she whispered as she leaned forward and shook her head. The host pressed once more, requesting a response from Kirk. Kirk, however, remained mute while fiddling with his microphone and staring at the ground. And any denial was drowned out by that stillness. The audience in the studio let out a yell. The audience was electrifying as Rasheeda sobbed and yelled across the platform, "After everything we've been through, you married her. You had me out here looking stupid for years." Some people jeered Kirk, while others yelled, "Rasheeda, leave him." Young Jock and Carly Red, among other cast members, sprang from their seats to comfort her. It was too late when the host attempted to defuse the situation. Already, the situation had gotten out of hand. After Jasmine's response, everyone's attention was on Jasmine Washington. She wasn't crying like Rasheeda was. She wasn't in a panic. She appeared composed, almost arrogant. She crossed her arms and sat back. The crowd shuddered as Jasmine calmly said, "I never lied. I've been saying for years. There's more to this story, and now everybody finally sees it," in response to the host's question about if the marriage was genuine. She had nothing. He sat motionless, avoiding making eye contact with anyone. He, Jasmine, Rasheeda, and even the cameras. He mumbled, "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go this far," when the presenter pressed him once more. Rasheeda went crazy over that one line. A mistake. A whole marriage is a mistake. "You ruined everything, Kirk," she yelled as she got up and paced back and forth. Security hurried in to calm Rasheeda down before she stormed off the set, not to break up a fight. As if it were a gladiatorial fight, the crowd cheered her on, jeered Kirk, and yelled Jasmine's name. The moment videos appeared on Twitter and TikTok, social media exploded. The internet collapsed. Rasheeda learned of Kirk's marriage to Jasmine on television. "This dude is utterly wicked. Rasheeda is deserving of better. She remained faithful. And she receives this. Jasmine is not a side chick. The entire time, she has been the wife. This is crazy." Memes of Jasmine grinning and Rasheeda sobbing appeared side by side. Here's where things got more messy. One woman's heartbreak is another woman's vindication. The first twist, "Who leaked the marriage?" was the title of one popular post. The producers did more than simply locate the marriage certificate, according to insiders. Sources claim that Kirk's close friend leaked it to the program in exchange for a sizable payment. There were rumors. Was it Jasmine? A disgraced former colleague, or perhaps a relative weary of Kirk's deceit? A blog was informed by an unnamed source that the document didn't merely show up. Someone wanted Rasheeda to know, and they wanted everyone to see how she responded. This sequence of events transformed the controversy from a straightforward betrayal into a conspiracy. By the end of the program, fans were guessing about who planned the timing, who benefited from Rasheeda public humiliation, and the fallout. The consequences were disastrous. On live television, Rasheeda had sobbed. Her marriage fell apart. Jasmine affirmed her stance. A secret wife instead of a mistress. Kirk appeared even more guilty as a result of his silence and feeble justifications. Furthermore, the disclosure that a close friend had released the records raised the possibility of more serious betrayal occurring behind the scenes. Already, the scandal had grown to historic proportions. However, sources muttered that this was just the start. Because Rasheeda might not simply go if she was taken by surprise thus severely on live television. She may use her own disclosures about Kirk and Jasmine to retaliate. If she does, the covert union may not be the last straw. It could be the first blow of a conflict that will destroy Atlanta. Everyone believed that the moment the marriage certificate appeared on stage was the pinnacle. However, what transpired next made the situation completely unimaginable rather than stunning. Rasheeda was not only shattered by the revelation in front of a live audience. The fallout from the celebrations left supporters yelling, "How deep does this go?" as it revealed years of secrets, insider betrayals, and rumors of cover-ups. Rasheeda broke down in tears. In real time, social media lighted up. Before the program had ended, millions of people watched videos of her sobbing face and Kirk's silence that were uploaded in a matter of seconds. However, what was going on inside the studio was far louder than the ruckus outside. Cast members surrounded Rasheeda, comforting her and hurling daggers at Kirk with their looks as producers struggled to keep the peace. It was heard that Carly Red was whispering, "I warned you that he was concealing something more significant." Jasmine, however, sat expressionless and periodically grinned as though she had been anticipating this moment all along. After catching her breath, Rasheeda approaches Jasmine. Rasheeda focused her rage not just on Kirk but also on Jasmine. "You sat there for years, letting me call you a side chick when you knew damn well you were his wife. she yelled as she got up and pointed to Kay across the stage. The studio audience erupted. Jasmine remained unflinching. The gasps in the audience were loud as she calmly responded, "You kept calling me a home wrecker. But how am I wrecking a home when I have the papers?" He was living a double life, not me. It was more than just a confirmation, it was a dagger that completely changed the story. The first significant turn of events of the evening occurred when someone leaked the marriage documents just when it appeared like things couldn't get much worse. When the host, like wildfire, speculation spread. Was it a disgraced family member, one of Kirk's business associates, or worse, one of his own kids who had had enough of the lies? Detective work on social media. The internet jumped into investigative gear right away. Fans started going through old Love and Hip Hop episodes, interviews, and Instagram postings. Side-by-side clips were released by one fan account. In one, Kirk shied away from inquiries concerning Jasmine. In another, Jasmine provided cryptic responses such as "You'll find out one day." Another widely circulated notion proposed that Kirk's daughter, Kelsey Frost, may have been the source of the leak. Her difficult past with Kirk and her outspoken support for Rasheeda were highlighted by many. Who else would want Rasheeda to know that they have access to such documents? Racking up 5OK likes. The Industry Reacts blogs wasted no time turning the scandal into front-page drama, one tweet said. Who leaked the marriage certificate? Boss sub Jasmine isn't a side chick, she's been the wife all along. The shade room Kirk's double life is revealed. Rasheeda discovers Kirk's covert marriage live on stage in hot new hip-hop. Journalists and pundits discussed the morality of the revelation, with some claiming Rasheeda was humiliated for viewership. As the episode came to an end, Jasmine revealed one more stunning detail, "Because he promised he'd leave you for me." When asked why she had remained silent for so long, Jasmine turned to face Rasheeda and said, "Because he promised he'd leave you for me." Others maintained that the world needed to see Kirk exposed in real time. And I waited. All right. I didn't say anything because I believed that eventually I would be the only Mrs. Frost. The crowd yelled in shock, but now the world knows the truth, and you can't erase me anymore. Rasheeda stood still, shaking her head and crying, while Kirk buried his face in his hands and avoided looking at either woman. When Rasheeda confronted Jasmine about the fallout, Jasmine insisted that she was never the side chick and that the papers had been leaked by someone in Kirk's own circle. Fan detectives blamed Kirk's family, intensifying the drama, and industry blogs made the scandal headline news. What little dignity remained on stage was shattered when Jasmine admitted that Kirk had pledged to leave Rasheeda. However, this is the cliffhanger that left fans clamoring for answers, and insiders speculate that this covert marriage might not even be Kirk's sole unspoken betrayal. Documents purportedly show that Kirk paid for a property in Jasmine's name years prior to the paternity scandal. If those documents come to light, it will demonstrate not only that he married Jasmine but also that he was financially constructing a second life. While Rasheeda Dita managed their home and businesses, the secret marriage bombshell exploded across the culture, leaving fans, celebrities, and industry insiders scrambling to take sides. What was meant to be a typical reunion tape turned into one of the most startling events reality TV has ever witnessed, and the aftermath was completely chaotic. As soon as the revelation was made, war fans on social media divided into virtual battlegrounds, showing support and sorrow for Team Rasheeda. Kirk Frost is officially the dirtiest man in love and hip-hop history. Rasheeda developed businesses with him, raised children with him, supported him through every scandal, and he's been married to Jasmine the entire while. How much more can this lady take? Kirk humiliated her again, and this time on live TV. Rasheeda should have trusted Jasmine when she stated it wasn't just an affair. Team Jasmine vindication and shade, she told you all, she wasn't lying. You guys tormented her for years as the side chick, but it turns out she was the memes-filled timelines, with Rasheeda tearful visage contrasting with Jasmine's composed grin. One went viral. You guys are upset with Jasmine, but Kirk is the one signing marriage paperwork. Members reacted to a TikTok edit that had Jasmine with Beyoncé, who rules the world, and girls playing in the background captioned from side chick to wife status. Another meme changed Rasheeda boss chick branding to lost chick. Carly Red tweeted, "Didn't I tell y'all Kirk was hiding something bigger?" And SMH Young Jock went live on Instagram. The Love and Hip Hop family didn't take long to add gasoline. Scrappy shook his head on Twitter, saying, "This ain't even messy anymore. This history." Kirk turned reality